WeAreArcade.com presents the Anime UK podcast with the SSRS.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りいたします。
So welcome to Anime UK's first podcast from Arcade, and you can find us on wearearcade.com. We'll be talking about all the latest anime, manga, games and all sorts today. Let me introduce myself. I'm Aisha. I'm a writer from Anime Picked, and my co-host Harriet here, who's been a cosplayer who turned into a cosplay photographer. She has anime knowledge from about 15 years. We've got Violet, a manga artist who's been drawing for 13 years, and we've also got Alex, who's been cosplaying for 8 years. Say hi, guys.
Hiya.
Hi. Okay, so let's get straight into what we're watching at the moment. Harriet, what have you been seeing?
Well, I've been watching a couple of animes at the moment. The first one is Sword Art Online, which is based in the future about people in Japan who can enter an MMORPG world, and subsequently they get trapped in there and they have to find their way. Two main characters, they have to find their way out of the game without dying.
Yeah, I heard quite a lot of hype about this last year, actually.
There was an awful lot.
Yeah, definitely. There's a big fandom for this anime. What did you think?
I thought it was really good. To be honest, when I first heard of it, I was going to watch it, but I think because everyone jumped on the bandwagon, I kind of left it to one bit, but I kind of decided to start watching it to see what it was like, and I quite enjoyed it, actually.
Do you know what? I'm in the same boat as you, actually, because I just thought everyone was just hyping it so much, and I left it for a good old long time. Then I started watching it, and it looked really serious, actually, from the first episode, and kind of thought, am I actually going to get into this? Since I'm a big, hardcore RPG/ MMO real gamer, for me, watching this, it was like, oh, dream come true, that'd be brilliant. But, yeah, it's kind of a bit grim, isn't it?
It is. Even I thought, oh, imagine if that happened to me, I'd probably go mad.
I know, die, suffer brain damage and die in real life. Woo!
Yeah.
The more you talk about it, the more I want to watch it now. I haven't actually seen it because I had the same problem as well.
Really?
It's just part of me says I should watch it, but I just can't. I don't really understand it.
So we're not even tempting you to see one episode?
Well, I might watch one episode now after hearing you two talk about it so well.
Well, if you're an avid gamer, I'm sure you would enjoy it.
I was just about to say, if you're into RPGs, definitely watch it.
Go for it, yeah. What about you, Violet?
I didn't really enjoy it myself. I think I watched at least 2 episodes, but I really couldn't get into it.
What was it that you didn't like?
The main character. I think.
Oh, really? You can really relate to the dude.
Not really.
Well, he seems to be such a loner to begin with, and then he kind of, becomes a leader almost. But, I don't know. I think for me it's opposite. I didn't really like the female character.
I think she's one of these characters you'll probably soon grow to like her.
I think what annoyed me a bit more was she seemed to be quite unsociable, and towards the end of the episode she was like, oh, I forgot that anyone could see my name. Duh. It was like, wow. Did you have to really turn into a ditz? Seriously? Come on, girl. Letting the team down. But I'm talking about, game-ish type series. There's another one that I've actually looked at recently called Axel World. Anyone heard of?
I watched the first episode yesterday. I didn't enjoy it. I did try to get into it, but I just couldn't.
Wasn't your thing. Just so the listeners know, Axel World is actually, again, about going into a game reality. Basically, the main protagonist, he's at school and everyone can actually access the internet through a collar on their necks, and then they can actually virtually just see themselves as an avatar in that world. And basically, we follow a little bit of a, what do you call him, a runt, I guess, and he's basically getting bullied at school, and it's funny enough, you think he would pick an avatar that would be, you know, strong and striking, but no, he decides to pick a little piggy avatar, and bless him, in the avatar world, he then meets, you know, the princess of the world, the top avatar, and for some reason, I don't know why, but in real life, the actual girl has a real interest in him, and she befriends him, and then she shows him special software that will get him to accelerate the actual world, where he can then do fights and then control situations to his benefit. I thought it was, I quite liked it, but it was hard to get past the initial 5 minutes for me because the actual narration just sounded so bad. I just thought, oh, this is so ridiculous. I don't think I can watch this. It's so over the top. But I'm glad I did go through it. It seems, I thought for me, it seemed quite, I don't know, universal, you know, the hopeless boy becomes the hero. Okay, I don't understand how he gets all the hot chicks. That I don't get. But, everything else seemed quite nice. Something that we'd hopefully hope would happen in the world in so many years' time. Whereas Sword Art Online just seemed a bit like, yeah, you're stuck in this game, and if you don't win the game, you actually die. Ha! We blow up your brains. Yeah, that kind of was slightly the grimmer version. But yeah. So you said you weren't really a fan, were you, Harriet?
No, not of Excel World. I just couldn't. I don't know, I just couldn't get into it as much as Sword Art Online. I don't know why, because they were created by the same person. I may watch it again and catch on a couple of episodes, and maybe I might change my mind, but for now it's a bit of a no from me.
I actually remember reading Axel World, the start of the manga, I remember.
Oh yeah?
And it turned out quite good for the start, but I think like everyone else, I couldn't get past the fact that it just wasn't believable. This poor little guy, and then all of a sudden, this mysterious girl comes along and goes, "Oh, I really like you. Here, you've now got power to do whatever you want." And I think after that, I just went, it's fine, but I just cannot get behind the characters. It just doesn't seem like a story that would make much sense at the start.
Okay, so again, you had a problem with the characters. Faye, any input?
Not really. I mean, the whole gaming MMO style anime isn't really my sort of thing. I really, really don't enjoy them. I think the only, I guess, MMO thing, well, anime manga-ish thing I liked is ID Entity, if anybody's read that.
And what's that one about?
Again, it's about a MMO, but they can actually, it's like almost like the Matrix, almost, because they can feel pain and everything if they get hurt.
Oh, but yeah, that's a lot more believable.
It's just that bit more interesting, because the guy ends up becoming, playing as a girl for a little bit, because he gets the wrong ID card. And then she becomes a AI that ends up following the party, and it's just really weird. But really interesting at the same time, so.
Okay, so going off our games into reality genre, have any of you seen Tamako Market?
I have.
Oh yeah, go on then, Faye. What did you explain what it's about?
It's basically about a girl, she works in a mochi market, or in a mochi shop, that's in a market, and, she ends up finding this, like, bird of paradise in a bunch of flowers, and the bird ends up basically adopting her, not the other way around.
And I know, that was quite funny in the beginning when you first see the bird. It's like, what is this? What's going on? But you were saying?
It's a really sweet anime, though.
You describe it as slice of life.
Yeah, slice of life, but also comedy, and you get what I mean,
of course. Just to explain, slice of life is basically where it follows a character just doing their normal daily routine, like la-di-da, I'm going to school, and I'm going to pick this outfit for tonight, and I'm going to meet up with my friends tomorrow. A bit like Azumanga Daioh, where, but this one just has a little added twist where you meet the talking bird, and I was actually convinced he was from a land of, other talking birds, but then when you find out that when he's actually finding a bride for his prince, the prince is actually human, and I was like, huh? What's that about? I thought they were birds.
I know, I thought exactly the same when I watched
thought
it.
I thought it was just going to be really amusing. I thought it was going to be almost like Cat Returns, the Ghibli movies. So I was a bit like, I wanted more, over the top birds to take over the show. Did anyone else see that one?
I haven't seen it yet.
I've seen the first 2 episodes so far.
How did you feel?
It was actually a lot of fun. I really didn't want to watch it because it reminded me of K-On! Too much.
Oh yeah.
And I can't watch, it's sweet, but I just can't watch multiple episodes of cute girls doing things. After a while it just goes, why am I watching this? They're not doing anything. But,
you're wasting your life watching it, not gaining anything.
Yeah, this one was really good. The bird is hilarious. The story and all the characters in the market as well are really well done. And it's just fun.
You know the flower boy or flower girl?
Oh yeah, the flower guy. Yeah, I only knew it was a guy because I heard the voice.
I was confused. I thought maybe they did it on purpose, maybe I misheard, but I was like, I swear it's a guy, but it really looks like a girl, but I think it must be revealed later on what his deal is. Right?
Oh, I was going to say, no, he is actually a guy, but...
Yeah, because of the voice actor, I think gave it away, because I've heard his voice before, and I knew it was a guy. But, like you, I looked at the character and went, that can't be right. That doesn't look...
No, it's very common in most animes that are they male, are they female? It is very confusing, but they do tend to reveal towards the end of most animes, oh yeah, I'm a guy, I'm a girl. Confusion over.
They like to have their pretty characters.
They do.
Sorry.
See, with like anime of like 2013 seemed to almost instantly give away that the cross-dressing cat is a guy. It's like I was watching Cuticle Detective Inaba, and his secretary is a guy, and they give it away straight away in the first episode, even though he looks completely like a girl.
He's wearing dresses and stuff.
Yeah, and he has a female voice actor, so it's not...
so that was very subtle. You wouldn't actually tell that's a guy until they go, oh, by the way, he's a bloke.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Thank you for telling me that. I just thought it was a word straight away. Oh,
it has now been revealed to the world.
No, that's fine. I had something hidden in that series. I didn't know what it was.
Oh dear. But straying away from the oh so cute, I know that Faye has been watching something a lot different. Psychopaths, I believe?
That would be me.
Oh no, sorry, Alex. Did you want to explain what that one was about?
Yeah, it's a very dark series. It's a sci-fi fantasy crime thriller. Where you watch series from the point of view of the detectives and their assistants called enforcers. And in this sci-fi setting, the world is dictated by a system called Sybil. And Sybil can instantly tell if someone is going to commit a crime or has committed a crime by their mental state. So it judges them. It gives them a number. If they go over the certain number, they're classed as a hazard. And the detectives use this to find people and stop them from doing things, or find them if they've already done something. But it's a really interesting show because you start to see the system has its merits, but it's your typical sci-fi, oh my goodness, something's gone wrong, the computer system's gone AWOL, we shouldn't really be trusting it, but they have to trust it because if they've got no other options. And it's a fun series. It really is. Every episode has had me on my seat just wanting to watch the next one to see what's going to happen. So yeah, I recommend that one for anyone who likes kind of Ghost in the Shell, or
That's what I was going to say straight away. It reminded me of Ghost in the Shell.
yeah,
Yeah, you described it.
it's like a bit like in Ghost in the Shell. They do have cyborgs in the series, full cyborg characters, but they're really obvious. They're animated so that they don't blink. They just have this really creepy stare, and it gives it away instantly that if someone's fully cyborg. And very few people in the public have them because they're expensive. But obviously, the villains in the series, a lot of them have that ability to try and get around the pass system.
It somewhat reminds me of Mirai Nikki as well. Have any of you watched or read that?
I've heard of it.
It's a really good series. It was one of those series I read the manga in one straight hit. I did. There was 57 chapters and it just kept me going. But it is that kind of element where you have to watch the next person. What are they going to do? What's their plan? It is a lot of espionage and backstabbing and whatnot. So I can see me watching that actually as well.
Yeah, Psychopaths, it's, as we said, it's like Ghost in the Shell. There's a criminal every episode. Sometimes if they're really hard criminals, it'd be dragged out for the usual 2 or 3 episodes. And it's the system and the detectives are really well done. The characters themselves, in some places you feel sorry for the criminals because some of them haven't even done anything. And because they've been dragged into someone else's conflict, their mental state has just gone. And the system's classed them as, oh my goodness, you're a threat, we must destroy you instantly. And the detectives are split into 2 and they're kind of like, oh, but it's a bit unfair, they haven't done anything, we shouldn't really bring them in. And the other lot are like, oh, they're a threat, let's kill them now, get rid of them. And I enjoy it. It's just, it's another fun Ghost in the Shell sci-fi series I can really get into for once.
It definitely sounds a lot more gripping than the ones we're seeing. You know, we could miss a couple of episodes and just carry on and there's not going to be much of a difference, I don't think.
There's a lot of kind of it's hard to explain. There's a lot of kind of interesting psychological things in it, which at first I didn't understand, but they kindly explain it along the line. And like with Ghost in the Shell, there was a lot of text and scientific information in it, which was very hard going. I think that was the reason why not many people watched it.
Yeah, the Ghost in the Shell series was a bit too much, I think, for the audience that they gave it to. I think it flopped a lot. It wasn't that even interesting, and they were trying to be so overly complicated. It was almost like, right, you've lost my attention now, I'm bored, I don't know what's going on. Someone just got killed. Oh, they're a robot. Okay, sorry, cyborg. Meh.
Psychopaths makes it a lot easier because right from the start they explain how the system works on a basic level, and then through the series they start to show you parts of the system that are bad and parts of the systems that is good, and how all the characters in the series make their own stand based on that. And that's why I think if people have seen Ghost in the Shell, they'll probably find this series a lot easier to get with and understand. That's for sure.
Oh, that's good. So there's no real main enemy that they're chasing. They're just chasing all sorts of little criminals, whatever.
A little spoiler, I should mention, there is a kind of Sherlock Moriarty style big head character that appears, I think, once or twice near the start, and then near to the end he starts appearing more and more. But he's pretty much classed as another criminal. He's just slightly smarter.
Right, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Anything with Sherlock Holmes or Moriarty, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah, it's like a Moriarty style villain where he gets other people to do the dirty work, but he doesn't do anything, so he doesn't come up as a threat until later down the line. And he's a really good character. Part of me wants to go along with him, but at the same time it's like, no, I should really stay with the main characters. They are technically right, doing the right thing, but his argument is really good. So yeah, it's another Sherlock-esque kind of sci-fi thriller.
Oh, that's good. So if you're into your crime and detective shows, this is quite a good candidate to watch then, I take it. Oh, that's good. Okay, so how about we move on to what games we're playing at the moment? Do you want to tell us what you're playing, Violet?
I'm playing Metal Gear Rising at the moment.
Oh yeah, the new one. What did you think?
I really, really like it. I mean, I was a little bit let down at the start because I went in it expecting a Devil May Cry Bayonetta sort of feeling from it, but it's totally different from both of them games. Not so much Devil May Cry, but with the whole Blade mode, it kind of it's nothing you've ever seen before, so
that kind of defines it from all the other Metal Gears.
Very much so, with it being very action-based rather than stealth-based. I mean, there is a stealth element, but they don't penalise you if you don't do them.
Oh, but I love hiding under the box. That should be in every level.
You can hide in a box if you want, but...
And a tin can.
Yeah.
But can
That's
we
the new element.
customise them? Come on, guys.
I don't think you can.
No, I think you can only customise Raiden. I think it's the only thing you can do.
Well, you can wear a sombrero which sits on top of the box.
That's so funny.
It just sits on the box.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't
Is that
thought that
downloadable?
Actually, no, it's actually part of the story.
Standard. Oh, nice.
I think you can buy the sombrero.
Yeah, it's, I think, the second level, I believe.
I can't remember. Oh.
It's the...
Get back to me on that. I think it's the second or the third level.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's the second main level or third level in chronological.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean.
In the chronological order, yeah.
Yeah.
So I take it you're a big Metal Gear Solid fan as well, Harriet?
I'm not a massive fan. I'm slowly starting to get into it, but I have been playing the game as well, and I do enjoy it. Unfortunately, I'm not one of these people who will hide in the boxes. Now and then I will, but I'm more hack and slash, go for it, aim for the kill kind of thing. But it's a really good game. I am enjoying it.
Oh, cool. I think, have you played it, Alex?
Yep, I've completed it twice now.
Ah, so you're doing like alternate endings and so forth.
I'm doing the collectible route now, and the very hard mode, and regretting it.
Are you doing it on Revengeance or just very hard?
Just very hard because we all agreed Revengeance was a stupid idea. Because I don't think any of
I've
us
completed it on Revengeance, so.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I'm dedicated to my Metal Gear Solid games, or Metal Gear games, so I would always completely finish them.
Yeah.
Right, well that's sorted then. So I like to watch these kind of games. So I'm just going around Violet's house. I'm just going to watch literally. So that's sorted for me. 3-4 hours of entertainment and she'll be loving it. She'll be like, yeah, die. And I'll be like, woo, CGI. I don't have to do anything. Woo. Awesome. What games have you been playing at the moment, Harriet?
Well, Metal Gear, obviously. Mm-hmm. And, I also replayed Journey last weekend.
Oh yeah, that was a favourite of last year, wasn't it?
It was, because my friend was over recently and she never played it, so we kind of co-op together and we played it all in one. And it was just amazing to watch again. There's so many feelings that you get playing that game.
I have to say, this game won quite a lot of awards, but a few people out there don't know. Can you just explain what the point of Journey was, Harriet?
Right, okay. The idea of Journey is you're a traveller and you sort of wake up in the middle of this desert and you go from A to B, collect these little symbols on the way that kind of extend your health, so to speak. And along the way, at the end of the level, you kind of learn about who you are and what kind of civilization your past people lived under. They're the elders. Mm-hmm. And as throughout the game, you learn step by step how you go about. I won't spoil the ending, but it's one of those endings you have to watch for yourself. To spoil it would ruin it. And along the way,
art of the game was amazing.
Oh, the artwork! I do really want to get the art book, but it's only in America, and I think it's £60.
Damn you, American.
I know, but you can get the album.
Okay.
I got it from iTunes for £3.49. The whole soundtrack.
Total bargain.
It definitely is. Also in the game, you can co-op with other people. So, and it can be anyone. You can help them, they can help you, or they can be, horrible to you. They could just wander off and leave you to suffer. It's up to you and it's up to them. But I think that's the best part of the game. You meet other people and play alongside you. I know my friend was very happy the fact that she had a few people join her along the way, and I did as well, actually.
It's a good thing you mentioned that. I was going to say, I think it's pointless if you have a console and you don't play at least a few games online. And the reason why I say this is, I know that the Wii Mini has been released, and I think, no offense to Nintendo, I love the Wii, but it's just a pointless console. If you do not have internet, what is the point in selling it? Seriously. There are going to be a lot of disappointed people out there who want to play some, beat 'em ups, some Metal Gear Solid or whatnot on that, and they can't play it because it's just not included. Pointless. Pointless, Nintendo. Why? It's just because it's red doesn't mean it's a good thing. Seriously.
Money!
This is just an excuse for them to do a Wii Mini 2, which will have internet. Seriously, what are the first lot of Wii Mini people going to think? They're going to be like, oh, we just got ripped. I know it was like a nice £79, but really? You might as well just invested in normal Wii or Wii U at that, to be fair.
To be fair, I've never really used my Wii online.
Oh, really?
Really, I just don't see the point, because a lot of Nintendo's games aren't online based. So, I don't really see the point going online. I may have downloaded a few N64 games, but really, if I got the mini Wii or whatever, it really wouldn't bother me if it had the internet.
Well, I think the main thing, the main games that I play online would be I'm going to get heckled for this one. The Just Dance games, SingStar and all that. Exactly. And guess what? Part of that is you can only download the good songs. That's it.
Via the internet.
Exactly. And for the Wii, come on, the Wii is like one of the funnest consoles to play, especially if you're doing the Just Dance, because you're moving about. Don't have to worry about, okay, obviously there is the motion detector, same with the Kinect and the 360, but seriously, if you can't download new songs, I feel like you wasted the money on the game and the console. I mean, forget it. Borrow someone else's. Go to someone else's house. Don't waste that 80 quid, people. I'm trying to help you out here. If anything, invest it on the game Journey. Please, download it from PSN. That is something to invest on.
It's only £10.
Oh my goodness! You hear this?
Journey's only £10. It's worth the money.
Oh no, it was already worth the money, even if you paid full price. So
actually, another game worth if you don't want to get Wii Mini, Walking Dead. It's 15 quid for all 5 episodes.
Oh, yes. Don't get me started on that, guys. The series, this is kind of a spin-off of the whole idea of zombies, but you've got different characters. You have got a few of the same names, but they've changed it, obviously for copyright licensing reasons. But, it's just so refreshing to have these, option-based games, and you don't really die, almost. There are a few occasions, okay, fine, if you don't press the button quick enough, you get eaten. Fair dues. It's a zombie game. Of course you're gonna die. But, there are a few things, if you press certain things, or if you do get bitten or whatnot, if you let someone die, it continues with the game. Each decision you make changes the story. You get different endings. And honestly, £15, that's amazing. That chapters, intertwine. I don't even want to say any more than that. It was just such a good game. If you like the series, please buy it. Anyone else tried it?
I was going to say, talking about Walking Dead, I've actually read quite a lot of reviews of the new Walking Dead game.
Oh yes.
The more survivally based one, I think Survival Instincts. It's got really bad reviews.
Yeah. Oh? I actually read that. I think Otaku said it was the worst game they've played this year so far.
Oh, that's a little harsh.
It is, but it is based off the TV series, so it has Daryl. I think the two brothers, Daryl. I forget his brother's name, but those are the two main characters of the game.
Mel and Daryl.
That's it.
But watching the gameplay of it, it just seems so slow and not good.
I've not played it, but I can't even compare it to the one that me and Harriet have played.
Oh, I know that's a different game, because that's the point and click.
Completely. So. Guys, don't waste your money on that one.
Hello.
Though I can see where they're coming from, because Mel and Daryl was quite an interesting character at the moment, and obviously Mel as well, and the brotherly thing they have, and I don't know, they kind of revealed some really weird parts of Daryl's past, and you're a bit like, do I really want to know his background? And some people are like, yes, gagging for it, want to find out more, especially if you're the comic fan, you're going to buy it despite the lag or not.
I have to admit, I actually played the game before I watched and read the series.
Oh, right.
So, in a way, I don't know if that spoiled it for me for watching the series, because when at Walking Dead, I will always think of Lee and Clementine. I'll probably be flamed for that. But it's just one of those stories that sticks with you. Though I do really enjoy the series as well. I'm still on series 2, so I don't know a lot about series 3 yet, but I have seen spoilers. So.
It is getting good, girl. You need to watch it.
I do have to catch up.
Right. So, Alex, what have you been playing at the moment?
Like everyone, I've been doing Rising as well. But I've been, since I've done that twice now, try and calm down, I've been playing Dark Souls. Another fun difficulty game. Which I must admit is, even though I say it's to help me de-stress, it is very stressful on some of the levels. It's a fantasy game I recommend for people who like some difficulty, but are willing to put like serious effort in to do boss fights, knowing that at the end they're gonna feel brilliant, knowing that they've defeated this ridiculous boss. It's just a very odd game, really.
Are you playing it in anticipation for the second one?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. People have been and ahhing about it, saying, oh, it's gonna be brilliant, it's gonna be good. I say I'm just gonna wait to see how well it actually does. It's, according to some speculation, it's gonna be a better system for co-op. Because, like with the previous game, it was 3 players you could play with. So it was a host and 2 sidekicks. And, I think they're trying to make it now so it's easier for you to join up with other people, because the current Dark Souls, you're lucky to find anyone, anywhere, that isn't an NPC. And the NPCs are your typical very badly done, they don't last longer than 5 minutes.
Oh wow, that's a bit pointless. You want to get your money's worth out of this?
Yeah, there's only, I think there's like 1 or 2 NPCs that are really good. You really need them for a boss fight because they're good distractions. Good old Solaire. He's at nearly every single boss fight you can find Solaire. And he's the perfect kind of aggro guy. He'll just stand in front of a boss going, yes, jolly ho, I'm gonna help you. And you'll just stand back and watch him go. Yeah.
I was going to say this sounds a little bit like Dragon's Dogma, a little bit.
It's like with the Dragon's Dogma, it's similar with, except for the fact you can co-op with other people, which is one thing I really was annoyed about with Dragon's Dogma.
See, I liked the peons, or whatever they were called in Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, the pawn system, wasn't it?
Yeah, but, it's a bit shit if you're not on online, because you end up getting stuck with like par level characters and they end up just being squished to death by the nearest dragon or giant you come across. So it makes the game really tedious if you're not online. But
because I was technically cheated. I have a friend that was on my friend list playing, and he started the game before me, and his character was 10 levels higher than mine. And I always had his pawn in my party because it was free to have your friends' pawns.
I really thought you said porn as in PORN. And I was wondering what you were on about there.
PAWN. PAWN. Chess pieces. But yeah, the system is fun, but I think my friends got really annoyed because we played Demon Souls, which is Dark Souls' previous game. And we loved the fact that we could play a fancy game of co-op, and then we got really hyped over Dragon's Dogma. Only to sit there and go, I can't really join my friends, and I only have one decent pawn, and all the rest are just low level and horrible and expensive. So, yeah, I think I got a bit frustrated with Dragon's Dogma in the end. It's a good game, but I just couldn't. I think the pawn system was a good idea, but it wasn't really implemented very well in certain places.
See, this is why I tend to stick to beat 'em ups, because I come home, hard day's work, can't be bothered with any of this frustrating stuff. I just need to kick some ass, really. Nah, can't. So, at the moment, I've also, well, I'm not really a big Metal Gear Solid fan, so I've obviously missed that hype, but I know loads of people play it, so like I said, I prefer to watch. If anything, I was more excited that, Hideo Kojima actually came for the Uniqlo signing for the t-shirt range, and then he also came around Eurogame, and I was like, oh my god, every Oriental person I saw, I was like, oh my god, it's Kojima! It's like, no, it's not. Oh, okay. So, yeah, you know, I was kind of getting in trouble there. But, yeah, so I've been actually playing the two fighting games that have been hyped up the most. Obviously, if you know me from Anime Pics, I've been a big follower of Tekken, and I had to, pre-order the special edition tin can packet with this soundtrack and this ridiculous art book of tentacles and whatnot. And then, you compare it to DOA, 5. The reason why I played that was because it's free if you're a PS Plus
PSN
person.
Yep.
That's it. So this is the game at the moment, and I thought, I have to try this out now because, you know, I went to Eurogamer, had a look at people playing, and I was like, no, I have to try it out. I've played the original back on the Sega Saturn, you know, so it was, I have to say that was a bit of a letdown, especially after playing Tekken Tag Tournament 2. DOA 5's story was the biggest pile of bollocks I've ever seen in my life. If you even call it a story, right?
It's never been a story.
I'm a huge fan of Dead or Alive, and they completely ruined Dead or Alive with 5.
Exactly.
The fighting system just seems a lot more, I can't say broken, but it doesn't seem as fluid as 4 was. The story didn't make sense at all. They could have just kept it with Kasumi and Hayate and Hayabusa, and it would have made a lot more sense than just throwing all the other characters in.
Yeah,
and
it's like they threw in new characters for the sake of, you know, you got new characters, but no reason why, whereas at least you actually had story behind different characters in the other games like Mortal Kombat, you know, Tekken or Street Fighter. It was almost like DO5. They were like, right, we're Tecmo, we're bored, what should we do? Let's make another DOA 5. Woo! You know what? Let's make the boobs even bigger. Woo!
I don't have a problem with that. I am a bit of a perv when it comes to Dead or Alive, because I do have both Dead or Alive Extreme games. So
I don't mind, because I'm a big fan of Dead or Alive Volleyball. I love it. I think it's the most amusing game ever. You can change the music, you can give your girls presents. It's like you have your own pimp island, and you pick their bikinis. Apparently you can actually switch off the bouncing movement, but what's the point? I see the game, that's the whole point.
Wow, there's an option?
I liked Extreme 2, mostly for the photography.
Oh.
I used that game as like a virtual photography game almost.
Interesting. Maybe they can market that. Do their own, you know, software with the hot girls on the side, you know, of the boxes. They've already done the marketing campaign.
It's like Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, that was the most, again, pointless game ever. It's not like, do you know what? It would have been interesting, right? If you could, like, maybe Bluetooth, or if the internet was available back then, back on the original Snap, you could send the pictures to the internet and maybe you could use them and print them out and stuff. That would be cool.
There was some way to print them off. I think
it was later on, though, not for the original, though.
No, it was. It was implemented over, I think, only in America, where you could take it to like Toys R Us, and they would print off your pictures and stuff like that.
Whoa.
No, with the Game Boy camera as well, wasn't it? It had
Yeah.
a similar system.
Yeah.
Oh, what, the Game Boy camera?
Yeah, you could have printed off from the Game Boy camera.
I know, I had one. I had a printer. The damn problem about that, as much as I loved it, the printer paper was so expensive, and then it discontinued, and then it was rare. What was the point of buying the printer if you could never have paper? And it just, honestly, I loved it because you could use it as stickers, but it would just fade within days. And I just thought it was worth me spending $9.99 for 3 rolls of paper that were going to fade if I did manage to get hold of them. Now, if you ever find them in shops, it's like 50 quid. Screw that. Just go out and buy me a real camera.
I've actually still got the camera, the Game Boy camera. It's just sitting here.
Oh,
It still works.
I know the camera works. No, I still have the camera. The printer's pointless. But I don't know. With the Game Boy, there's still no way to really send it anywhere to get it printed properly.
No, there isn't. I think the only way would be to just pull the poor Game Boy apart. That wouldn't work, and try and connect it to a computer.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to use it again.
Way. Yeah, we'll just have to. Maybe in the future there'll be a way for us to dismantle it and do such and such. But anyway, going away from the fighting games, I'm quite a big RPG fan. At the moment, I was supposed to be playing Ni no Kuni. I pre-ordered and they messed it up. They sold many on the website, and I didn't actually get my limited edition one with my little look-alike. So I've
trippy.
Yes, exactly. I have not got it. So I'm quite resentful, and I'm refusing to buy it until I seem, a little bit less salty about it. And I find probably at a slightly decent price as well. If I find the plushie, oh my god, hell yeah, I'll get in that and the art book. But yeah, I'm kind of off that. But there are a lot of other RPGs out there, because I don't have the right console. I can't really enjoy. Anyone else played anything?
Well, not myself. I have seen gameplay of it from my boyfriend, but Hyperdimension Neptunia has just come out.
Oh, I've heard. Do you know what? There was a little bit tiny publicity back, like almost 2 years ago. I went to a BlazBlue signing at GamerBase in HMV, which is now closed down. And they had like 2 posters there of that, and I was like, "What is this?" And they were like, "Oh, we don't really have much information." I was like, "Wow, this is a great publicity campaign for this." No information on it. Brilliant. I find that it's really rare. It's really hard to get hold of. Your boyfriend was really lucky.
He was, yeah. I've lost my thought there. Yeah, and he's really enjoying the game. He sends me loads of screenshots of it, and what it does a lot of, it breaks the fourth wall. And if no one knows what that means, it's basically they kind of say that they're talking to each other, and then they kind of turn to the screen. It's like, hey, you agree with me, don't you, out there, people who are playing this game?
I like that.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of that, which is actually very funny. So I think I might be borrowing that after he's finished.
I quite like Nice for doing that in their games. Actually, it's quite amusing. They've done it in their past games like Disgaea, which were also like very anime-esque kind of RPGs. Which, to be fair, fans play it because of what it is. I mean, I played it because I'm just a, RPG fan. But it just really adds to it, because when it's really frustrating, you have to do all these strategic tactics of fighting, this, that, and the other, you kind of like being rewarded with a little bit of humour or a little bit of a cutscene, and yeah, it just, trust me, if you can watch it, it'll probably be a treat for you.
I haven't actually played this game. I should really, but I'm not. It's very. Is it an RPG or is it puzzle based kind of thing?
RPG, kind of like you pick how many squares to move along, and then you pick a move to use, and if you've got enough mana or SP, you can do moves, and when you run out, you're just on your own Todd, and you have to just fight. It basically, if you're not really into RPGs, I just recommend you just buy the anime. The anime is basically based on the first game, and it just sums it up, basically.
That's fair enough.
Having to stress yourself out about it. But the Disgaea series is pretty good. You'll probably see it at cosplay conventions, people running around as the penguins, the Prinnies.
The Prinnies, yep.
Yep, dude, yep, probably annoying the crap out of you, but they're pretty, eye-catching. You can't miss them. Great, so we've covered all the games that we've been playing at the moment. Have you guys found anything interesting on the internet recently?
Well, one that came to mind recently is Final Fantasy X. There is rumours that it's going to be re-released as a HD on the PS3. We don't know when.
Oh, it's going to be on the Vita, actually. I think they've said now.
It is.
And
Yeah.
I need to say it. And they're releasing it with 10 Part 2.
They are.
They are?
Because it's a pointless game, people.
On the
it's a separate game. You have to just have it with the original, because let's face it, I bought it, I expected so much from it, I was heavily let down. You play 10's epic. You played 10 Part 2 and they were like bored and they just filled it in with some extra bits they couldn't be bothered.
I wasn't let down.
I didn't mind it.
What?
10-2 was actually quite a lot of fun.
I think 10-2 had a really somewhat interesting combat system with the whole dress sphere thing. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't have a problem with that. I think it was just too short. I just think it literally was, they could have fit it all into there. I don't know. Nah.
It was kind of thrown together. It's probably because fans were going, well, we want Titus back, and, you know.
I think that was it. If obviously, if you haven't played the end of the game of 10.
But who hasn't now?
Why not? Why not? Probably one of the most emotional times I've ever cried, especially at the end of that game. But it does, I do see how people wanted it to carry on, because it kind of like, why did it stop there? X2, the ending, yeah, there's multiple endings on it. I think there's 3 or 4 different ones.
Oh yeah, the only good ending was if you collected everything, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
I heard
that way they could string the game out if you collected everything. Otherwise, you can whiz through that game so quickly.
See, I heard with Final Fantasy X too, if you didn't talk to everyone in that game, every time you was in that area, you wouldn't get 100%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, because on me it was, I had the problem with the spheres, wasn't there? There was like tiny little sphere items you had to find throughout the game. And there was like 2 I couldn't find in the end. And I got really annoyed.
To be fair, I did kind of cheat. My dad actually played through Final Fantasy X too, and 100% completed it. So I just watched him play it and then played it myself and thought, well, I've seen the perfect ending. I could just play it how I want to, so.
Oh, so you got your other endings. You just felt the hard one was done. Get on with, and if you want to see the CGI bit again, just go to YouTube.
That's it. Or if you don't want to get 100%, you can watch all the endings on there. They are all on there. This is confusing because with the releases, on the PS3, you're going to get both games. But on the Vita, you have to buy them separately.
That's a bit unfair.
It is a bit if you have a Vita and you don't want to invest in a PlayStation, so you're basically forking out more money for 2 games.
Technically I have to pay for both because I've got the PS3 and the Vita, so I'm gonna have to pay for both.
Oh
games.
no!
Technically, no, wait. Some of the games you can buy on PS3, it kind of entitles you to a version on the Vita for free. So don't worry too much about it. You never know.
This is Square though. They're just as much as a cash cow as EA has become. Talking about Square Enix remakes. I really, really, really can't understand why they've made Final Fantasy X in favour of Final Fantasy VII, because I am pretty sure Square has got a pile of letters the size of their Japanese HQ just asking for Final Fantasy VII, and they decided to go, we've got these letters for Final Fantasy VII, but no, we're going to make 10. So.
Well, the thing is, I know for a fact Final Fantasy VII is probably the most popular, but then there are quite a lot of people that like Final Fantasy 9, 10, or even 8.
See, I like 6, so I'd like to see a remake of that as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the only one I haven't played. I really want to find that again.
Yeah. No, I would prefer, 9 any day. I think that had the best story. I actually think, 7 is probably one of my least favourites. I found that it was just so boring, to be honest. I like the characters. I really like the characters, actually. And it was really nice having to unlock special characters there, like finding Vincent, and then he had a bit of an interesting, twist to the game and stuff. But I just found it really blur, and it was just like, oh, hurry up, find Sephiroth, hurry up, kill what you need to kill, I'm getting bored.
I have to agree with you, I had never got past the first boss, because I just couldn't do that game. I know so many people love it, but part of me is just going, I can't get into this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can mention too much about this, but I might mention a bit about 14, if anyone knows about it.
No, what's that?
The Final Fantasy 14.
14.
It was originally closed, not too long ago because of fans complained that it was poor quality.
Oh.
And, they're re-releasing it, sometime this year or next year.
Wait a minute, was this an online thing?
This is it's an MMO.
Okay.
And, some people who played Final Fantasy 11, which was an MMO as well, have joined 14. And, it's some of the screenshots I've seen released from Square are good, and I've seen some of the beta information because of, the beta is running at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone's waiting for that because whoever's doing the beta can't show pictures of the game, they can't mention too much. Hence why I'm trying to be careful, because I've seen the beta and I don't want to get any friends in trouble because they've showed me it. And so far it's looking really good.
Well, I have to say, I've always been torn with the Final Fantasy MMOs, because what's annoyed me is MMOs are generally free, to be fair. I think you should pay for the game, but then it should be free to play. But certain games like Warcraft and, Final Fantasy, you have to pay monthly. And I think that's a bit unfair, because you've paid initially for the game. Why are you having to pay for the privilege to play your game?
Yeah, I think
what is the point?
14 still has that system.
See, this is why I never played. I actually have a copy of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. I never actually played it, purely because I had to play a feat and I got pissed off. I was like, no, why am I doing this? I'm borrowing a console and now I have to pay monthly to actually, I want to do online, an offline version then at least, because it's just, I don't know, I think the ethics are wrong, especially when you've got games like, Phantasy Star Online 2.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, they've released it and it was for free in Japan, and okay, obviously Americans and, the rest of us, Europe, are upset. They were like, why is it not released for us to play? We'd love to play it. That's a great game. I had it on Dreamcast. I was the biggest fangirl, because back then, Dreamcast was the first console to use the internet. So I was like, woo, I'm online with my robot hunter chick. And I'm stealing everyone's stuff because everyone keeps dying and dropping it.
It might be a bit like, how Phantasy Star Universe did it. Well, you still had to pay for Xbox Live, but then you had to pay for a £6 monthly subscription on top of that to play Phantasy Star Universe online, so.
What was the difference between that and the, Phantasy Star, just general, online?
Universe was like a different, story to online. I can't really explain because I didn't really play, online too much. I got into it in Universe, but the online part of Universe really, really didn't interest me.
Oh, okay. Well, I've never even heard of it, so that totally bypassed me. I remember when Final Fantasy Star Online 2 came out and they only released it in Japan. I remember there was all these different tutorials on how to download it in the UK and patch it. Do it in different languages or just play it in Japanese. And I actually did go to one of the extremes of just doing that. I had it in Japanese, but I just wanted to try it out because I knew I was never really going to play it because it was never going to be released here and I'm not going to enjoy it in Japanese because I wouldn't know what I'm doing. So I just played it and it was good. And I mean, I only played it for like a couple of days and then I got rid of it because I know, it's probably, lockdown for people to be playing it in different countries. But, I don't understand why they're monopolising. If it's free anyway, why not just extend it to the rest of the world?
I think it might be the server size. I think they're just, because of the Europe and the US, they both have very large servers. I think that was the same problem we had with quite a lot of online games. So they're probably asking for a fee to keep the servers going. So I don't really actually know why they would ask. Why they just keep it locked down in one country. It's a little bit unfair because me and my boyfriend wanted to play it. But we can't.
Talking about Phantasy Star though, you should definitely try and, if you've got a PSP, you should definitely try picking up Phantasy Star Portable. I mean, it's
wow! How old is that? Is that new?
Actually it's quite old, I'd say 2007 maybe?
I should be able to put it on the Vita, shouldn't I?
Yeah. You should be able to, yeah.
It's not online. I think you can do like multiplayer when you're like next to people, but it is a really interesting game if you love the whole Phantasy Star story and the sorry.
Is that one free as well, or do you need to pay?
It's not online, so all of it is.
Oh, okay, so it's an offline version, basically.
Yeah, it's got a really in-depth story, so.
Do you know what? I'd totally try that. I have no problem in doing that.
I'll have a go at it as well, if I can get it.
That's it, guys. Next podcast, we're going to be just sitting in a room, playing it and chatting. All of us headsets.
I would say, though, Phantasy Star Portable 2 keeps a more online feel. It's, again, not online, but they've made it seem like it's online. So you get more customization, you get to go into stores, while the other one was a bit sort of Excel spreadsheet where you could just sort of press buttons and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you couldn't really interact with the actual person standing in the shop. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm just double checking if we can't get it on PSN.
That would be good because I've got the Vita just sitting next to, well, actually I've got everything sitting next to each other. Just all waiting.
Do love it when a plan gets together, guys. We're sorted. We're already on it.
I think I can't remember if I had the PSP version or the PS2 version. It was a long time ago. I think I only played 2 days of it. I don't know why I grew bored. I think it was during my exams and I just forgot about it. So I think it is one I'll have to get back into again.
Wow.
That shows how old I am.
When I got it for Dreamcast and I sorted my internet out, I was on it every day for months. I forgot to eat at certain points. I was so engrossed in that game. And going out, forget that, I'm busy.
See, I was the same with Universe. They had like a demo, on, I think Xbox Live, where they had like a level cap of like 40, but you could play it online for free. So I stayed on there for the most part because a lot of my friends played it as well, and I just completely loved the demo, but the actual online part of Universe, the one that you've got to pay, doesn't seem so fun because it's a lot more competitive and a lot more people aren't paying for it because they know they could fall back onto the demo. So,
but I'm one of those people.
Good news and bad news. Okay, good news is it is available, but only on PSP and Vita.
So I'm the only one with a Vita by the sounds of it. So I'm the only one that has it.
PSP.
今度はいつ会えるかなんてそんな顔してよく言えるって思ってたよなんでだろう何も気にならないふりして 川沿いありえない展開踊る携帯グッバイメールならば忘れたい本みたいばどっか消えたいエニータイム喋りすぎの KY チラリ見せる強がりなアイクライ涙の効果はどれくらい私なりに愛されたい溢れるのに君が見えない二度と君に会えないそんな気がするんだ伝えたいのにうまい言葉見当たらない私多分嘘でもいいのに聞かないでも言えないよくしゃみすると出る変な声とくしゃくしゃに笑う不細工な顔止まらない汗目をこする癖どうせつまらないあいつの特性似ても似つかない二人のスタイル無駄にシャイセンスはややない嘘つく時の含み笑いうざいとっくにバレバレめんどくさいたまたま彼氏がいないタイミングで暇つぶしてどの子行って友達にも言い訳しててまさか私が追いかけてるなんでつまらないジョークはいつもくどくどこまでも続く飽きやきなトークその度ロック今度は私からノック私なりに愛されたい溢れるのに君が見えない二度と君に会えないそんな気がするんだ伝えたいのにうまい言葉見当たらない私多分嘘でもいいのに聞かないでも言えないよ握ってた手が離れたら君はいつか忘れちゃうの私のこと私なりに愛されたい溢れるのに君が見えない二度と君に会えないそんな気がするんだ伝えたいのにうまい言葉見当たらない私多分嘘でもいいのに聞かないでも言えないよ
Cool. So anything else that you guys have found interesting on the internet apart from the Harlem Shake, which I do not want to talk about?
Actually, I saw an interview. I think it was on Kotaku and YouTube. It was to do with Kojima's new game, or Hakeem's. I think it's Hakeem. Or,
Oh yeah, Hakeem. Joaquin,
yeah.
that's it.
Joaquin's new game called Phantom Pain. And in the interview, supposedly, I can't pronounce his name.
Just think of a W, Joaquin.
Joaquin was completely CGI, and he looks like he's there though.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. He's the guy with the bandages, isn't he?
Yeah.
Whose name conveniently is an acronym.
Yeah. I have to say, that was really convincing. I didn't actually know that. What was the point? Wouldn't it have been cheaper for him to just be there rather than CGI?
No, I think that's Kojima trying to show off how powerful the Fox engine is. But at the same time, it's a tech demo, and tech demos are always going to be a bit showy, because like the tech demo for Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation 3, if anyone saw that, it was like completely flashy. It looked better than Advent Children. But then they were like, oh, we're not going to release Final Fantasy VII looking like this, so...
Talking about video games, events actually, there's this thing in central London called Loading Soho. It's where a bunch of guys from Cornwall brought all their consoles and board games, and they just set it up in this venue called Mad in Soho, and basically you just came in, you played games. Yeah, and then they also did like game-inspired cocktails. You could talk to them, and they were going to make it a regular thing. But I hear, because one of my friends told me they popped past the venue, and you could actually buy cake and stuff, and then you can actually play Mario Kart on the SNES whilst doing that. So I thought, oh, okay. So I'm not sure if that's a regular thing in the actual venue, or maybe the dude's left some consoles there. I don't know.
I know he has a cafe bar thing in Falmouth in Cornwall.
Oh, yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, that's it, yeah.
If it's the same guy, I don't know if it is, I might be wrong, but I think if it is him, he's going to do it once a month now, from now until December.
Yeah, I wanted to, but he says depending on the popularity.
Yeah. There is one thing I've noticed. In Japan now, they are starting to introduce anime characters to fast food. So Dragon Ball Z is now advertising for KFC. So the Colonel in Japan is now dressed as Goku. I think Goku, if you buy the fries, they're kind of like Super Saiyan hair.
Hatsune Miku.
No, there's going to be a lot of Japanese people porking out on pizza.
No, they have. They actually have been porking out on pizzas. Because I think there's like a reward system going on with it, where you can get like dolls and the Vocaloid programs if you eat so many pizzas. So.
Really?
Yeah, because if they've had the program on the mobile phone where you could have a little animated version of her on your camera.
Yeah, like
a QR version.
Yeah, the pizza box would be like a dance stage.
And all we get is Monopoly.
All I can say is that's great advertising from Japan. I hear in their Happy Meals you can get like porcelain Hello Kitty dolls. What do we get? Plastic little turtles.
Hot Wheels, little figures.
Or books.
To be fair, they were good back at the time, but now they're not great.
Just cheap little plastic things.
Yeah. Or books.
By the way, we were talking about that event in Soho.
Yeah.
The actual same venue also hosts a variety of maid and butler cafes.
See, I wanted to join that thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I've applied like 2 or 3 times, but I haven't got. Oh well, I had a little bit of feedback from them, like the generic thanks for applying thing, but I haven't got anything further than that. So
what did you do though? Did you have to send in your CV or picture? What?
It's not so much a CV. You've got to give
professional.
I made it a tiny bit CV, but I made it cute at the same time. You sort of have to explain yourself, explain why you want to be a maid, why you'd be suitable for a maid. Also sending in like pictures of like your face and your, general, like a full body picture as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a model kind of agency thing.
Well, pretty much, because you're going there to have the, experience of meeting a maid and having, obviously the maids, because I've been to one of their previous maid cafes, which was in Camden, and they all have different personas, they have special colours allocated to them, accessories, and they all have their own kind of look, if you know what I mean. Like, one can be like the moe, one can be the kawaii, one can be the sultry, one can be the kind of mischievous. And it was really strange because it was in a Western, setting. The cafe itself looked perfect, but it was a bit, awkward because people were just walking through the corridor, which just went through the cafe because it was a pop-up cafe. So I was a bit like, maybe a better venue should be chosen. That's why they've picked something else. But it was strange because most of the kids that came, they were young, obviously. They came with their parents, and I swear the parents were just like, "What is this? Why are we?
Why would kids go?
Why are we?" No, yeah, that's the kind of audience. Honestly,
I can kind of understand. I mean, I was hoping that it wouldn't be as sexual or sexualized as the Japanese-made cafes are, but I would have hoped that the target audience was like, I'd say 15 and upwards, not like kids.
You'd be surprised because some of them came with their parents, and I'm assuming they were younger than 14. There were a few definitely that looked like they were in their teenage years, so 15, 16, and then you had a few that looked like they were in their 20s. They were the ones that were like, oh, can we play Jenga? Can we play Connect 4? Can I have a picture of you? They were the more, wow, this is our thing. We've been to Japanese cafes in the, Japan. But, I don't know, it just, it's strange. I haven't experienced it properly, so I don't know myself, and it'll be good to kind of compare it to the real Japanese thing, but I think we're slightly different, the European audience, so, I mean, we just don't want to have the luxury of someone just being kind of submissive to us. For us, it's kind of weird, because British people are generally quite polite anyway, so it's kind of almost strange. Why are you being nice to me? Go away!
Well, yeah, because I was going to say, Japan's got that whole, I can't think of its name now. The one where you would go into it's not so much sexualized, but you'd go into,
escapism, right?
Yeah, you would go into sort of like a bar, and then you would pay for a girl to talk to you.
Oh, is it like a hostess?
Yes, hostess,
right.
yeah. Japan has a lot of stuff like that, be it maid or, you know.
It's like a whole district, isn't there?
Yeah.
Just dedicated to it.
I think that Shinjuku. I may be totally wrong.
Yeah, because the maid one's in Akihabara. Because you see them, if you go to Akihabara, there's like tons of them all lined up, across Akihabara's main street with little leaflets and signs trying to get people to come in. And, you see them as you walk past, all different maid outfits, all different types of girls, just trying to get as many people as they can to come behind the stores and come into little cafes because they're not on the main street quite a lot.
Yeah, but I think there's it might be something to do with the laws, because I don't think they're allowed to openly advertise it.
It's almost like a form of prostitution, yes.
Mm.
Yeah, because they were all hidden. I think all the main stores were on the front, and all the makeups were just like down creepy little alleys.
Like businessmen, they know where they're going, they kind of just slip in, chat to whoever they want to speak to in their own private booth, and that's it. That's that. That's funny that, I think that was mentioned in actually one of these mangas. Do you remember, what was it called? The one about a cat.
There's a lot of animes about a cat.
There's one called That Damn Cat.
Most vague description I could give. Okay. There was a manga that was based on a cat's life, and then she did another manga which was about, a lady who worked basically as a hostess, and she was like a farm girl. No, she was a farm girl, and she wanted to leave the country, and she got a job as a hostess.
I think I know this, I just can't think of its name.
They tipped her really heavily, and they didn't do anything sexual, but they just got loads of money because you make regulars, you chat, they buy your drinks, and it looked really flashy and really like luxurious, but obviously there must be some sort of stigma of people assume that you're doing things. Like, for example, if you go into Chinatown in the West End, people assume if you go into a massage parlor, you're getting more than a massage.
I think the Western culture sees it as a sexualized thing, but over in Japan,
It's normal.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not normal, and they're not allowed to pursue the relationship outside the club or bar or anything like that. It's like the hostess or host would get fired normally if they pursue a relationship. It's a bit like that whole idol thing where they're meant to display themselves as boyfriendless virgins because that's what the otakus want.
Yeah, they have to sign the contract.
Yeah, there was one girl in a popular Japanese J-pop band.
AKB47.
Yeah, she had to.
47.
Yeah,
Oh, that was horrible.
she had to shave her hair because she spent the night with a boy.
with from another band.
Yeah.
Which is a bit unfair because that's a very big group. That's a lot of girls. And they're all tied up. They can't do anything.
No, I hear it's really strict, and if you are thought to have had relations with a boy, they kick you out.
Saying that,
shaving the hair, I think is quite woo.
They've removed her card now as well from the set. Any advertisements gone of her as well from the group.
She's been demoted now to the bottom rank, so I think she has to work her way up again.
But
which is tragic. It's just horrible.
I have read though that they are. I think we're gonna relax the laws on idols as much as the otakus are gonna hate it. I think they're gonna allow behind the scenes the girls to pursue relationships because it's really unfair on them to, portray themselves as this and then not being able to escape from it after work, per se.
I know, it's almost like the Jonas Brothers, they're onto this.
They have the
in Christian promise rings, and then everyone jokes about saying this or that behind the scenes. I don't know if they are, but it's so strict in Japan. My goodness.
It is,
fans in Japan are very straight. There was an argument recently. They had the opposite problem, wasn't it? There was a series called Basu something. It was a basketball series. And it was really popular with girls, but they got threats, bombing threats at events who were showcasing comics from this series and manga, everything. And they had to cancel and close the whole booth dedicated to that. Because they were scared that the place was going to get bombed.
How come?
They don't really know. Someone really hated the fans of this one series that they threatened to blow the place up. And I think it was Comiket, or the big Japanese one.
I think it's Comiket.
Yes,
Yeah.
Comiket, yep.
They actually said, sorry, we can't show anything based on this series. We've closed the whole doujin section, for fans and artists, because we're scared that someone's going to blow the place to bits.
That's just unbelievable.
And I think it's spread a bit as well. I think there was another threat. They found out who the first person was, I think, who sent the threat out. But another one came in from someone else, I think. And they're getting really annoyed because the poor fans can't appreciate their fandom because all events are saying, sorry, we can't host anything to do with this series because we're scared we're going to get attacked.
The fans do sometimes let down other fans.
Yeah, but this series was really laid back fan people. It's mostly women because it's a very guy heavy, lots of guys running around sweating doing basketball, so lots of girls have taken a liking to it. And they just can't understand why anyone would have such a huge hate for such a tiny series.
I just can't believe that. That's really unbelievable.
Saying that, go on.
No, you go.
I was going to say, saying that reminds me of a rule that Comiket implemented a couple years back, or I think it might have been last year. They, because girls were complaining that they were getting harassed by the photographers, they're not allowed to wear skimpy outfits anymore. But I'm going to be a bit controversial here. They kind of bring it on themselves if they're wearing like tiny bikini tops and the most thinnest of
Well, as a cosplayer, I can understand because I hate skimpy costumes. I just can't. I can't personally wear them out of fear because I know in a convention environment, people do just go, stuff it. This is my dream. Lots of half-naked women. I can do what I want. And then you kind of get really worried that someone's going to go up to you and take advantage. So that's why most of my costumes, I don't wear anything that shows my legs or chest. But then I see Comiket and the Japanese cosplay scene, they're really laid back with costumes compared to the West, where they will turn up in a bikini and two little stickers on their chests.
No. I have to stop you right there. MCM, I've seen ladies running around in next to nothing, and they don't care.
I've seen it, don't worry.
And I've seen it to a excessive point of why would you do that?
I can kind of understand if they're cosplaying Yoko because her outfit is, basically hot pants and a bikini top. But if you're just going to run around in a bikini for the sake of running around in a bikini, you just, it's needless attention on yourself.
Yeah, I know you're confident in that, but you can't really have a ran if someone does try and take pictures of you or stares at your boobs or tries and touches you. It's going to happen. Obviously, it's against your human rights for them to do that, but you are asking for it.
I think
unless you have your boyfriend there with you to kind of protect you, or a guardian, or some sort of entourage, you're even gonna get comments, and I've seen it, and it's not nice. And I even went to the latest LAC6, so London Anime Con, a young lady called Finny Artridge. She did a beginner's tutorial for cosplaying, and she said, even if you wear something as tame as a short skirt, guys or even women look at you and go, "Oh, look at that slag. Where's she going?" And it's like, whoa! But obviously this is before you get to a convention. But even at a convention, they're like, "Oh, look at her. I bet she's easy." And it's like, well, she's just dressing up as a character. Doesn't mean she's anything other than what she is. But especially when you're slightly young, and a lot of these daring girls out there doing these skimpy cosplays are in their teens, like 15, 16, and obviously they're not attuned to hearing this kind of filth, and they'll take it personally. And if anything, you just kind of think, come on guys, in and out, kind of get changed before you get in there, get changed when you leave, I don't know.
It's just, some people don't click that social things outside of conventions still count inside of conventions. You can't just turn up and expect everyone to be nice to you. I think of it like an anime environment. It's not going to be cute little girls going, oh, you're really cute, and guys being really nice. There is still going to be people there that are going to go, cool, look at those legs, or I wouldn't mind getting her.
Or you'd have the people who'll be like, oh, they'll slag you down for how bad your cosplay is or something.
Yeah, it's just common sense. You've got to kind of remember that people aren't always going to be nice.
And this goes back to the whole maid cafe thing we were talking about. In Japan, you're banned from taking cameras into a maid cafe. And they'd also banned cameras from the actual maid cafe in Camden. That I understand, but to be fair, for what it is, they're all covered up. In London especially, because Americans and the Japanese, they're a bit more obsessive with photos and that. I noticed at the Camden one, the only person taking a picture was me, but that was, to be fair, I was reporting on it, so of course I was, and I asked their permission, that was fine. But it's not like you're gonna be running around half naked there. And I don't know, because they seem very picky as well about the type of girls that they picked in the maid cafe, which I think is wrong as well. So
the uniform isn't really a small uniform, is it? They have to wear...
It's all covered up, yeah.
Yeah, they've got little bloomers on as well.
I don't know if they had, I wasn't looking, so, they had to kind of like a frilly kind of skirt, but I don't think you could see much with it. They all wore like knee-high socks, and, it's no...
I think they're just worried about that one person who's got like a camera and tries to take photos under skirts, but to be fair, it's really obvious when someone does that in a cafe, if there's so many people, you're gonna spot that person pretty much very quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if they've got the camera facing the ceiling.
It's like if you're in an environment like that, people with cameras that are doing no good are going to stand out, because it's going to be either like big cameras, or even if they're using their phone. If you see someone like shuffling their phone under the side of a table, it's kind of really obvious.
I have to say, this whole photography rule, I think if you're at a convention, take pictures but ask for people's permission. How do you guys feel about that? Because you all cosplay. I think it's disrespectful, because then they take really, unflattering, and that's when they can take the really cheeky shots of your undergarments and that.
Coming from photography point of view, because I do a lot of photography for other cosplayers, I always ask permission, and I always ask, is there a certain pose you want to do if I don't know the character? Oh, sure thing. But one of the things I do make sure to do is that it's tasteful, because I don't want to take photos, upload them, and think, oh, you just took this because of blah, blah, blah. And so it's just one of those things you have to think of straight away. If it's going to be look good for the person as well as yourself.
See, I will ask somebody before I take a picture, because I just feel that's, the done thing. Yeah. But I really, really, really have a pet peeve with people who will almost throw a bitch fit, or just complain or huff and puff if you want to take a picture of them when they're in cosplay. It's like, you've come in cosplay, but you don't want people to take pictures of you.
You're obviously showing off your costume. If not, why bother going, right?
Yeah.
I agree that as well. But I understand, like, for example, if they're eating, then I understand if they say, can you wait till I finish?
Yeah.
Because that's not very flattering.
That's a big no-no.
You shouldn't really huff and puff, really. You should just say, if you've got a problem and you're in costume, to a photographer, it's just, can you wait, or can you... I'll give you my number, can you contact me later or something? Because you're in a bit of a rush.
Yeah, if you're doing like a photo shoot later, they can just come along and it'll be a lot better. Because I do know that there's some people in costumes that are trying to walk through the corridors of MCM trying to get to the toilet, and they're getting stopped every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But then it's a compliment at the same time as well, so they shouldn't get too offended.
See, I won't ask them when they're like eating or chatting to friends, if they're just sort of standing around just, with everybody else, like if they're with a group of friends, that's when I'd ask them, so I don't feel like I'm, intruding on them, so to speak.
That's fair, because if, now I'm going to do it from the other point of view, as a cosplayer, I very rarely, when I do get stopped by photographers, this is very rarely because I'm not that good of a cosplayer yet. But, yeah, people always ask. They're always very nice. They stop you, they ask you, do you have a specific pose or anything like this? I actually got stopped by an interviewer once for a photo, and it was the first time someone actually asked me who I was cosplaying as, because
That's good.
But there will be, like, a few people, just the general public, they'll have a camera phone, or they'll just have a basic camera, they'll just see you and take, like, a really quick shot if you're moving or heading somewhere. And, they'll post it online, and as a cosplayer, it's nice that someone's gotten attention, but it's a little bit annoying that you've taken a photo of the costume I've worked so hard on, and it's just a blurred mess of me running away, instead of, like, stopping me and asking politely, oh, can I have a photo?
Some people are shy and some people want to take action shots, so it's one of the two categories.
Because
like, again, from Harriet's point of view, they might feel a bit like, oh, we don't really want to disturb them, so I'll let them do their thing and try and take a sneaky shot kind of thing.
I think the worst one is when you get stopped by photographers and there's a really obvious fault with your costume. And you don't realise, but the photographer does, but they're really shy and they don't mention it, and you feel really bad because you'll see the photo later on and both of you look at each other and go, yeah, we should have really fixed that because the photo it's kind of ruined the photo. And it's not really the photographer's fault or the cosplayer, but it is a bit irritating when you see it afterwards and just go, I really wish one of us did something.
Talking about taking pictures at cons, though, the creepiest moment I've had is when I wasn't actually in cosplay. I was probably about, I'd say 14, maybe.
Lolicon.
A horrible age.
Yeah. I think I was dressed in mostly black, but it wasn't like Gothic Lolita. It was just like a normal black top and black jeans. And this guy comes up to me. Mind you, I was holding a Moogle toy. He comes up to me and goes, can I take a picture of you? And I'm like, sure. So I was thinking, like, why are you taking a picture of me? There's thousands of girls over there in cosplay, but yeah. Still to this day, I probably know why he took the picture, but I don't want to think about it.
Was this like near Expo or something? Because I've had that before at Expo.
I've had it at MCM. I was actually queuing up for Edward Elric's voice actor at the time. So.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because if I had it, I don't know what happened. I was changing out of cosplay because my wig was too hot. And I just got out of the ladies' bathroom, walked towards my friends, and the guy said, can we have a photo? And I said, okay. And he said, does your two male friends want to join in? I went, okay. None of us, neither my friends aren't cosplaying. Yeah. My two friends aren't cosplaying, and I haven't got a full costume on, so I don't really know why you want a photo. But we did it anyway, and it's hilarious because the one guy was my boyfriend, and the other friend, we call him Troll. Just like this heavy bearded guy with long hair, and I was like, this is a really odd photo. You've got one guy looks like a rocker, I'm in a nurse's uniform with no wig on, and my boyfriend, who's about twice the height of me, looking like a giant. So I don't know, I never could work out why they wanted a photo of us.
They probably thought you were something else. They probably thought you were like part of a band or something.
They
thought you from an anime, the group of you guys.
Probably, yeah.
It was funny because I was really confused. So I was like, I know I'm wearing a really weird nurse's uniform. I know some people like that, but I just couldn't work out why I wanted the other two guys with me. I was like,
Maybe you didn't want to offend them. I've done it before. I've taken cosplay photos of people and their friends are just standing there looking really upset, and I'm like, oh, you can get in the picture as well if you want. So if they're not on cosplay, I won't do that. But if they are on cosplay, then I'll ask them to join in. So
yeah, I'm the same, because I usually if I say, oh, can I take a photo of you? And even though I'm talking to all of them, they probably say, oh well, we'll just send. And I'm like, no, all together, please. Just put your bags over there. I'll take a photo of all of you, and separately as well.
Yeah, I do that with Lolitas. Sometimes they get really scared as to why I'm asking a photo, and if I'm in cosplay and my mum's with me, I'll get her to take a photo and I'll pose with them in cosplay, so they don't feel kind of like, just, why is this person only wanting a photo of me?
Oh yeah, okay. I do that as well. I jump in the picture. Yeah, that makes more sense, right?
Yeah, because when you're in cosplay, they feel a bit better because they're like, oh, someone's in the photo with me. It's not just they've got a photo of me. What they're going to do with it? So you feel a bit safer.
The thing is, you can ask. Don't be scared if someone approaches you and you're a bit like, why are you? Just ask them, because I've actually said, one girl was really shy. She was obviously Japanese, and she went to me, why are you taking a picture of me? And I was like, oh, I write for a website, and I cover cosplay and fashion. That's why I want to take a picture of your whole outfit. That's why I just want you, not rather than me or any other person in the picture. And then she looked so relieved, and I gave her a business card. That helps as well, guys.
Yeah.
Definitely. Throw a business card out, and then they're like,
that probably helps a lot better than a random cosplay in a suit of armour going, can I have a photo with you?
and then breathing heavily under your helmet, yeah?
Yeah, and you can barely hear my voice either. A pair of beady eyes behind the helmet. It's like, can I have a photo with you? Sorry, the helmet's in the way. Can you have a photo of it? Oh, okay.
Okay, guys, so we've come to the really fun part of the show now, and this is where we get asked a variety of interesting questions from the listeners. So the first one is, how has anime changed through the years? Submitted by Luke Callahan. That is a really interesting question. Funnily enough, one of the websites was talking about this recently as well.
I think it was Kotaku.
That's the one.
Otaku, yep.
And I think we can all agree, yes, it has. So, who wants to start the discussion?
I was going to say it's become very, or at least over the last recent years, it has been very girl orientated. It's like groups of girls.
Yeah, slice of life kind of thing.
Yeah, they go through
Lots of harems as well.
Yeah, I have noticed that they go through phases where it'd be like sci-fi and then slice of life and...
Yeah, like trends basically follow that. I find that the actual content is becoming a bit more adult as well, because back in the start, you either had an extreme of, like for example, Pokemon, which was really kind of almost children based, and then you'd compare it to like Ninja Scroll, which was really like hardcore violence, rape, everything. I think they kind of calmed down, because obviously most of the extremist ones, like that one, Akira, were all shown on like Sci-Fi Channel, so you had to be, obviously it was late nights and midnight, you had to be awake. If you were going to school, you'd be asleep anyway. And back then we didn't Sky Plus any of this either, but now you get a whole range of everything. Everything's so emotional and deep and so much, you know, yaoi. That's an example. Yaoi now exists.
I hate yaoi.
Okay. Tell us why.
I admit, I went through a stage, like every girl does, or every anime loving girl does. They'll go through a stage where they absolutely love yaoi, but I did kind of grow out of it because it is kind of cliche.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, I'm gonna ship, X boy with Y boy, and I just don't like it.
You're into something particular though. You like what was it, Itchy or something?
Ecchi. But that's a genre of anime which is, it can be either softcore porn, or it could be just like a lot of upskirts, a lot of clumsy girls, and
just a lot of fan service, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but back when anime first started, this didn't really exist. This kind of progressed through the years.
I think fan service was still there. It was
but it was, yeah.
It was slightly more subtle.
There was just no name. There was no term. But yeah, you were going to say something, Harriet?
I was going to say that it's more CGI now, animes nowadays. There's not many hand drawn ones anymore. You can see clear examples when it first began. You know, some of the quality of the animation is not as good as it is today, but that is a big significant difference that anime has changed throughout the years, and no doubt the way technology is going, it's going to go on, and it's going to advance more and more as time goes by.
I was going to say, talking about that, I know Miyazaki really didn't want to go to CGI. He wanted to keep all of his stuff sort of hand drawn, and kept the CGI to sort of like the bare minimum.
Has he used any CGI?
I think he did use it in Spirited Away. And
but it was very minute though. I think it looked actually really, you couldn't tell the difference almost. I think I know what you're talking about. It's when they walk in the fields, right? Is that CGI? Yeah. I think he does it in a very subtle way.
I think also the scene with the River Spirit, where the water's flowing, I think that might have been CGI as well, so. But I absolutely love Miyazaki for his, you know, hand-drawn stuff, because it just gives it such a, you know, a unique personality, if you get what I mean. Yeah. It feels, you can, I don't know, you feel like it can happen almost. Yeah. It feels very nostalgic as well, because when you think back to also Disney movies, all the 80s, 90s were all hand-drawn, and there was just some sort of magical feel to it. I loved like the, what was it called? The Black Cauldron. That is a perfect example of hand-drawn, you know, animation. And it just looked amazing, like the facial expressions and that. And then, you could start seeing the creeping age of the CGI when it came into like Treasure Planet and even the new one, what was it? The Princess and the Frog? That had CGI as well.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the film Redline?
No.
Yes. Redline. That's all hand drawn. I think it's one of the very few films by, I think it's Madhouse. There's actually hand drawn. I think they put a tiny bit of CGI in places. I think it was mostly for bits they couldn't draw. For instance, some of the sci-fi kind of ships in it. But all the characters, the cars, most of the backgrounds was all hand drawn, and that's why it took so long to be released. But they were praised for it because they were showing that it could still be done, but
Yeah, you
obviously
just
it
have to
takes
have
a
the
lot longer.
time and effort, of course.
But yeah, it's a very good film and a very, very well animated as well for something that you wouldn't have guessed was hand drawn when you saw it from the front.
That shows it's a good product, doesn't it?
Well, it's a good advert for Madhouse as well to show that they
no,
can do something different.
And also, we came across this interesting phenomena of how Pikachu has seemed to have lost weight through the years.
Pikachu works for Weight Watchers.
Yeah, it's quite sad actually. What was it? Someone had mentioned that it was to promote healthy eating or something?
Yeah, I think so. I think Japan wanted it to get kids to be more active, and if they could see their favourite characters slowly slim down, they would actively go and be more active themselves. But to counterbalance that, Japan does sell a lot of junk food that, you know, is labelled with anime characters, so I can't see why they would use Pikachu to promote weight loss, if you get what I mean.
Isn't fast food expensive though, isn't it? In
It
Japan?
is. It
In
is,
Japan, yeah. They don't want people to buy fast food. It's like a luxury, isn't it?
Why
Yeah.
like more like bread and stuff like that? They'd have anime characters on like certain types of sweet bread and stuff like that.
They have it for their curry.
Mm.
They have Precure on their curry, because I bought one in the Japan Centre not too long ago. So that's a good way of promoting that, because that is good to have with something healthy like vegetables. Well, that's what usually Japanese curry is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all vegetables, yeah.
I would like to comment that on Kotaku, someone actually commented that he had to lose weight because he was cute before, but in order to do his adventures and look badass, he had to lose weight. So, to do his, drop kicks, his jumps in the air, his mighty screams, he needed to be skinny. It's rude though, because I like Jigglypuff, I like Snorlax. I'm not morbidly obese because I like them. So how's that going to make people skinny from, Pikachu losing weight? That ain't going to do nothing.
I think it's just all subliminal and, people's views on it.
I just think it's a way to sell another plushie, because look, Pikachu looks different by this plushie now.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next question, which is, what is your dream cosplay? Submitted by Princess Molestia. I would have to say I'm lazy when it comes to doing cosplay, so, and there's just so many characters, I've never really thought about it, and I don't think every time I go to a convention that I have to do a cosplay, so for me, I'd have to think about that for a while, but to be honest, looking at myself, I really want to actually look like the character, so not just dress up as a character for the sake of it, so I wouldn't mind doing someone like, from Sailor Moon, Sailor Pluto, because it's really hard for me because I have olive skin. There are rarely any characters that have olive skin or any black characters, so I'm a bit limited. So Sailor Pluto it is.
My one would have to be Lulu from Final Fantasy X.
Oh, a good one.
Yeah. Because I went through a phase where I was looking at cosplays that would most suit me and my size, and I think Lulu sort of ticks all the boxes.
Plus she's a cool character as well.
You can actually really camouflage yourself because you've got that massive skirt to play with.
You've got that, and then you've got the corset, which, if you're a bit...
pulls you in.
Yeah. But I'd love to cosplay as Lulu if I had the money, but her dress is going to be in the 300, 500 mark.
All the belts.
Be a nice investment, though, to be fair, because I went to, I think it was, the latest Eurogamer, and literally by the retro section, there's just casually a lady dressed up as Lulu just standing there. I don't know if she was paid to stand there or if she was just chilling out, but she really made an impact, and everyone, as soon as I took a picture, everyone swarmed over her. Like, can I take a picture? Can I take a picture? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And really, her dress was amazing. when you think about it, if you collected enough belts, you could do the skirt yourself.
True.
But whether or not it would stick together, that's another question.
I can't work with leather at the moment, so I'm gonna give that
a nightmare.
You have to try and do a leather effect on things.
Yeah. What about you, Harriet?
I did have a few. There is one in mind that has been done before, at Expo and other events, but it's Queen Esther from Trinity Blood.
Oh yeah.
And,
Ooh, that's a hard one.
It is. I know. I've one friend I know did it, and I think it cost her over $1,000 to make it, which is an awful lot.
Over $1,000.
It's just
At
all
least.
the details are just insane.
It is.
Just be there for hours. So hand sewing all the little beads, all the lace. Because I love those.
With it.
She did. She entered in May last year, and I think she won Best in Show.
Oh wow.
Which is deservedly so. I was gutted that I couldn't actually stay to look at it for real, but I saw her the next day and she had the top half of it on, because obviously with the skirts and you have the metal frame around it, it's obviously heavy to wear, and plus it was baking hot as well. But from what I saw, it looked amazing.
What about you, Alex?
Oh, I have a list a mile long of characters I would love to do, but are either impossible to just pay for or impossible in gravity. Because I think the number one was Zone of the Enders. I wanted to do Anubis, the mech from the series. And that is just, I looked at it and went, it's kind of possible, but I have no idea where to start, and so.
Well, it would be a dream cosplay, so you wouldn't necessarily have to imagine making it. You could just get it.
Well, I actually
It's just a
designed.
magic pair on your doorstep.
Yeah.
You design, you say?
I actually designed an easier version of one of the mechs. She's called Dolores from another Zone the Enders, the anime series.
Mm-hmm.
And I designed an easier version, so it's just a humanized version that was easy for me to get around, and I didn't have to walk on my toes because I have no feet, and it would just be like walking on just on the edge of my feet, and trying to balance would be impossible. And that turned out good, and I was going to make it, but once again I started to realize even when I made it look good, it was still going to be expensive and gravity defying to try and wear.
Oh, and that's why it's your dream cosplay.
That's why it will be forever be on the list of things I would love to do.
We never know if you win the lottery. Sorted.
You
can make us all our cosplays.
Oh,
Right, sorted. Right. So the next question would be, how did you start watching anime from Mon Capitan? Would you like to start that one off, Violet?
I started watching off anime via my dad. My dad was in the anime scene, early 80s wise. So when I was born and I'd say about 4, he introduced me to a lot of animes. I'd say the one that I remember off the top, or the two that I remember off the top of my head, is My Neighbor Totoro and Ranma Half.
Yeah.
Which, isn't exactly kid friendly. Well, Ranma Half isn't, but.
Totoro, My Neighbor Totoro. Though I think you'd have to be slightly older to understand what's going on in Totoro, though.
True. But yeah, that's how I started watching anime, and then I just slowly progressed watching it myself via like Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, and then started branching out to Chobits and the more Japanese ones. So,
what about you, Alex?
I actually started out with manga first and worked my way up to when I found out about anime through that.
What manga got you into anime?
Cardcaptor Sakura.
Classic.
That was the first one. I actually watched Pokemon first, technically, but I didn't know it was an anime. And I didn't realise that anime existed until I found Cardcaptor Sakura from the manga book, and I realised it was an animated series. And from then on, it just kind of went to the usual kind of what was on Dragon Ball Z, Outlaw Star. Started working my way up, and then just kind of continued.
And at that point, it was more accessible to find on TV as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I found Gundam Wing as well that's when I first thought of Gundam, but I didn't really continue on from there, because I didn't know it was a continuing thing. And it Toonami and all those channels that made it more accessible.
Jetix.
Yeah, Jetix.
Box Kids.
Yeah, you just ended up picking up tons of them after a while when you realised they were on.
Yeah, when you realised what they were as well, the actual genre.
Yeah, it's just I just really started to love them when I realised they were a lot more fun to watch. They were more story orientated than most kind of kiddie shows at the time. And I liked that more, because it wasn't just, look at the cute pretty pictures. It was more, here's the story, you can understand it, it was fun to watch, and yeah.
Funny you should say that, because have you ever seen that Hello Kitty cartoon? It is literally for, toddlers? You'd think it might be maybe anime, maybe like a learning program, but it's just so basic. It just, anyone who's bought it just thinking, oh wow, it's gonna be so cool, it's Hello Kitty. No. Dear me, they've marketed it at a completely different child range.
They've gone the wrong direction.
Yeah, exactly. So what about you, Harriet?
Well, I started watching anime actually earlier than I thought. The first one I realised it was anime was Pokemon. When I first started secondary school, that was thanks to CITV and SMTV when they used to show it every day and every weekend. Prior to that, it was Samurai Pizza Cats a long time ago on Saturday morning cartoons again. So I have a lot to thank for them, actually. And then slowly I started descending onto, watching Sailor Moon on Fox Kids and Toonami with Dragon Ball Z, Gundam, and, Cowboy Bebop as well as Outlaw Star. I think they stopped that though quicker than I think. And it kind of moved on from there. Then started going to Forbidden Planet and finding VHSs of Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Blood, The Last Vampire, and all these old school animes. And it grew from there. And then I started getting into manga when I was in college, as they started becoming more mainstream. So after that, my main one was Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, Digimon were my first two, but then Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the one I totally fell in love with. To this day, I still love it. I do absolutely love it.
One of your favourite cosplays as well, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, Yami Yugi. My favourite one to date.
That must have been a fun wig to do.
Oh, definitely. It was, it's so comfortable. You do get hot, obviously, but with most wigs and headwear you do. But, definitely one brilliant for casual cosplay.
Yeah. I was heavily influenced by my older brothers. I remember to this day being forced to watch Akira and hiding behind the sofa and crying. When, the part at the end, you know, when Tetsuo kind of blows up into this big, like, marshmallow monster, and then everyone's getting squished in his flaps, and then I was like, oh my god, it's disgusting. Oh my god, there's blood and bones everywhere, and the ghost, the old people who I thought were ghosts,
yeah,
that kind of gave me nightmares. So that was watching anime without even knowing it. And then for me later on, it was definitely, I'd started buying the manga as well. I was a big fan of Slayers. I just remember walking to in this obscure shop in Bluewater, which has now disappeared. It was called Jakarta. I'll never forget it. And that's where I found my first comic of Slayers and Animerica, which a lot of people don't know it.
I remember that, yeah.
Do you remember that? It came before Shoujin Jump. It was before that, and it discontinued after a while. And in Animerica, it was basically like Shoujin Jump. It had a few different samples of mangas, and through that I found Fushigi Yugi, Peach Girl, and all the rest, and Pokemon as well. And then I'd already been watching Pokemon, and I was like, I don't understand, why is this drawn here? And then I realised afterwards that there was this new thing called anime, and that's what Pokemon was, and through that, all the rest came along. And then I found out some of the video games I was playing was anime based, so Magic Knight Rayearth, Final Fantasy started becoming anime-ish, and so forth. So that's my adventure into anime. We also have next question is, what is your favourite game or anime character? Submitted by Queen Bee Fever. For me, because there are so many characters, definitely favourite game character will be Lahal from the Skaya series, because he's just a pissed off demon lord child, and he just has a fit, and he gets his way for everything and anything, and I love it because he can back it up. He can say, I'll kick your ass, and he will kick your ass, and he's like level 2000 whatever, and he knows what to do. So I'll stick with my favourite game character for now. What about you, Alex?
Can I do one for both?
Yep.
Yeah, because sticking with Zone of the Enders, favourite game character, Dingo, from Zone of the Enders 2. Just because he was just an awesome character, really. I'm gonna spoil the game a little bit, but yeah, right from the start he just gets messed over. He literally gets shot in the heart.
Oh.
And right from he's told, sorry, you're stuck in the mech, it's keeping you alive. And he just goes, why have you done this? I said, oh, we just wanted to keep you alive. Okay, I'm gonna go and find out who shot me and get revenge, and I don't care what's gonna happen. And it was really awesome. He just went off, and he was the first time I saw a character from a series just go, damn it, I'm gonna do what I want. I've been shot in the heart, I'm still alive, but I'm gonna go out and have some fun. And along with that, my favourite anime character, it's a recent one, is Shichika, I think that's how you pronounce his name, from Katana Gatari. It's a series I think it came out a year or so ago, and it's a really good series. It's another one based off of I think it's based off of a light novel, just like Sword Art Online and other ones that have been released. And he's literally just a fighting force. All he knows is how to fight. And he's been living on an island with his dad and his sister for so many years. And he gets introduced by a girl, I can't remember her name right at the moment, I really should remember it, and she tells him she needs him to collect a number of swords, so that she can go get higher up on like the scale in like Japanese kind of like parliament. She wants to get higher up, she wants to get power, she wants to get revenge on the people who knocked her down, and she wants him to help her. And they go through like a long romance story, and there's a big shock at the end. I'm not going to give it away because I want people to watch the series. But he's a really awesome character because he's just a lot of fun. He's very stone-faced. He doesn't understand things, and she drags him along. And they're really good characters. So yeah, I think those two would be my favourites. So who's next? You just want to? Harriet?
I'll go next, yep. Well, obviously I said it before, Yamayugi.
Hey.
It's just the character itself. I mean, when I was in college, and I know it sounds sad story, get the little violins out. When I was at college, I was kind of a loner. I didn't really have many friends who were into the same thing as I was into. But, watching Yu-Gi-Oh, especially the character, Yamayugi and Yugi, both themselves, they kind of believe in the power of friendship, and they believe in kind of going for everything. And I've always kind of stuck with that philosophy, really, that if you're true to yourself, then anything can happen. I know it's sappy, but it's just one of those things I've always believed in. So that's why I've always admired both the characters, and to this day, they're still my number ones.
Oh, that's a good mantra and a good, reason actually.
Yeah.
What about you, Faye?
I've got two video game characters. Well, one's not a character, but I'd say my overall favourite video game character is Naked Snake from Metal Gear Solid 3.
So that is Snake without weapons, right? Not as in naked.
Yeah,
even though that would be nice.
That would be quite amusing.
He's the father of Solid Snake, so.
Oh, okay.
And my other
Why's that?
Oh, why he's my favourite character.
Yes.
I know, I just feel he's a very well written character. There's no sort of emotional attachment to him like with Yugi with like Harriet, but I don't know, I just really like Naked Snake as a character. He seems less derpy than Solid Snake is.
Less derpy. I've never heard Snake being described as derpy before, but that's fine. We all have our reasons. And your second character?
He isn't, well, he isn't so much of a character, but I have a really, really big soft spot for Metal Gear Ray.
Okay.
I can understand you to some degree on that one.
He's a mech from Metal Gear Solid 2, I believe, yeah. But he's just really, out of all the Metal Gears, he's the most cutest Metal Gear, and he's just so cuddly, even though he's a, 12-story mech.
Kick an ass. Clearly. So, we'll move on to our last question, which is, what do you prefer, in a card fight, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Vanguard, or Magic the Gathering from Control?
I think we know what my answer's gonna be, so I'm gonna get free for free Yu-Gi-Oh!
Do you actually play a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game though?
I do. I used to years ago. I haven't, because there's been so many rule changes and now you have forbidden lists and limited lists. Plus there's brand new different cards that I have no idea what they are whatsoever. I'm slowly starting to get back into it now, but I do play a lot of it on the games, so 3DS and DS mainly.
Ooh.
It's a lot better because you can say cards nowadays, even for Magic, Vanguard and Yu-Gi-Oh! Some of them are really expensive to get.
Mm-hmm.
So
how would you do it in the actual console game? How would you do that then?
You can actually buy, the more duels you win, the more points you get, and then you can use them as trading cards to get trading cards.
Okay.
So the higher the ranked person is, the higher the points you get.
Wasn't it in the original games you could use the card? There was a little code on some of the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You could type them in.
That's it.
Oh, that is awesome, actually.
If you own the card, you could type in on your game.
I've got it. Own it. Oh, that would be so cool.
If you looked up for a clear picture on the internet, you could easily find it. But then they stopped it. I think it was a few games in because they realised, okay, people are cheating. They're just getting all these fantastic cards out of nowhere. So we're just going to put a stop to that, and we're going to charge you. We'll charge you points if you want to use your card, and you can only use it once.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, so they kind of put a no. Computer says no.
That was a good system as well.
I know, it worked for me.
You lost the game, Harriet. You lost the game. What about you, Violet?
I'm totally for Magic the Gathering. I've tried playing Vanguard and I've tried playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I think Yu-Gi-Oh! was actually, I tried to get in it before Magic and I couldn't get my head around it. I didn't know, the phases or anything. Now playing Magic the Gathering, no, I kind of understand the phases from Yu-Gi-Oh! But I've got a huge soft spot for Magic the Gathering. I've probably spent way over £500 on Magic the Gathering, so.
Whoa. Do you go to tournaments?
No, because I don't have that much confidence in myself yet, but I'm hoping to get that much confidence and, tournament-worthy decks later in the year.
I have actually been to a tournament before for Yu-Gi-Oh! It was really good, but after a few rounds I was getting beat. But there was this one kid, and every time he picked up a card, nope, don't like that, put it down. Nope, don't like that, put it down. Nope, don't like that.
You can't do that.
No, I know that, but because he was a little kid, I thought, and his dad was beside him, kind of, I'll just let him. But I still beat him.
What do you think, Alex?
I'll have to go with Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that's the one I know the most about, even though the Vanguard cards are really nice to look at.
They are really cute.
They are really cute and really pretty.
So
but
shiny.
The Yu-Gi-Oh! Rules, I remember when it first started in the rules where you could literally put anything down, anything could go. And now, as you said, the rules have just gotten so complicated over the years. Now there's this like weird XYZ rule. for XYZ decks and things. And even though they've still got some nice, I still like it, but I can't play it. I can't play any of these card games at all anymore. I haven't kept up with any of the rules since they've been designed and since they've been released. So I think Yu-Gi-Oh just wins it, just because I've got there first.
Well, my answer would be none of them. Pokemon. Why was Pokemon not listed? Bullshit. Sorry.
We all got slightly different ones.
Yeah, but I will say I have done a demo of Magic. I have done a demo of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I have actually done a demo of Vanguard. I would say Magic I found was the easier one to play, but I would purely buy Vanguard because, again, same as what Alex said, they were just pretty. That is it. Like, even if I didn't play them, it didn't matter, because I would just get my cards, look at them, and there's my satisfaction. Money well spent at a pretty girl deck.
As an anime fan, I hate the fact that Vanguard is anime art.
Right, get out, Faye. Get out.
Oh. I don't know, I just like the semi-realistic art style of Magic the Gathering, and
I know what you mean. It looks a bit too airbrushed, a bit too cartoon.
Oh, I was going to say also I'm a Dungeons and Dragons player, so it sort of goes hand in hand with that. So that's probably why I'm more for Magic the Gathering than more anime-style card games.
Wow. I think we are at the end now. That was the last question. So we've come to the end of the show, and you've been listening to Anime UK. Please go to wearearcade.com for the next podcast and submit your questions to us via Twitter, Facebook, or the actual website. We'll hopefully be doing this weekly. So bye from us. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.
www.wearearcade.com